Hello, my Earth and Star friends. Welcome to Oracle Mystica. Before I jump into today's reading, I have a fun announcement. Just so you know, starting out this channel, I had a lot of other things on my plate, and some of those I was able to sort of clear out and make a little more room for this. So I'm going to try and get on a very regular schedule, and minimally every Monday afternoon a new reading will be up, just so you know sort of my schedule and when to expect these. And then if I have extra time, I'll try and throw up a second one here or there. But in general, you can always expect Monday afternoon a new reading. So today's reading is really fun. It's about relationships, but it's a little bit investigative in terms of our personal relational energy, hence the kinds of relationships we attract. So it's not pigeonholed just to romantic relationships. This can be business relationships, any deep one-on-one relationship we have. What is the energy around the relationships we attract? That's kind of the general question. So we'll investigate, a little bit about your own energy, the vibration you're putting out. It's hard for us to see our relational energy. It has to be reflected back to us from others. So it can show up, our relational qualities can show up reflected in the kinds of people we attract to ourselves, as well as our perceptions of them. Sometimes what we perceive our partners to be is more of a reflection of us than their true qualities. But there is something to be said for, like attracts like. And so your relational energy is going to attract, similar relationships to that energy. So, they could be, in the realm of what you're perceiving, but to be aware of, it's also somewhat of a reflection of yourself. So we're going to explore your energy and then kind of reflect that and into how that might give us clues as to the types of relationships and people that we draw to us for partnerships. So we're gonna do 6 piles today. I'm gonna try and keep them shorter, like 12-15 minute range. We'll see if that happens. That's the goal, since I'm doing more piles, just because I think there's a lot of relational variation out there. So we're gonna pick from these animal archetype type cards, 6 different piles, and then I will give you a few minutes. Well, I'll give you just a little bit, and then you can pause if you need to fill into the pile that attracts you. Okay. See, these 2 are sticking out. So we've got a cheetah, a gazelle. These are both fire animals and African animals. Not that that has to say anything about what you attract. People all over the globe can have cheetah and gazelle energy. Let's see how it's coming out. Ooh, crocodile. So a water quality. That card is ripped, so we're not going to use it. I should actually just take it out. Oh wow, cosmic egg. So this is a very spiritual kind of energy. Let's see. 2 more. Hummingbirds. We got some air going. I like the diversity here. Let's see if maybe we get an earth one next time. I don't know. Oh, again, the torn card. It really wants to come out. I'm just particular about things looking pretty, so we're not going to use it. But, and shark, another water. Okay, so it's a little bit crooked, isn't it? Okay, I'm gonna give you, take a few seconds or some time, fill into these. So pile 1 will be Cheetah, pile 2 Gazell, pile 3 Crocodile, pile 4 Cosmic Egg, pile 5 Hummingbird, pile 6 the shark. And don't pick your favorite animal. Really, even close your eyes and kind of open them and see which one just like grabs you first. Because your favorite animal of this bunch may not be your relational energy. It might be something more about your more personal drive or something, So really just, think about relationships and then feel into which one is kind of drawing you in. And okay, so pause here if you need a little bit more time to look at these and feel into them, and then we will dive into pile 1 with the cheetah. Hello, pile 1. If this is you guys, you picked cheetah for your relational energy. Let's see if I can get it to focus. So cheetah has an energy around it where it is a very, very good hunter. I believe it's the fastest land animal, so it's a sprinter. But there's a pattern to its energy in terms of it will really kind of stalk its prey and get very strategic and be patient and wait, and then it will do its sprint to find its aim, and then it will take a very long time to kind of rest and rejuvenate. It is not sustainable. This sprinting energy that it has is not sustainable, but it is very powerful and very effective, and it almost always catches its gets its focus. If it has an aim, it knows how to watch, wait, find the right timing, and capture or just hit the target, and then it needs some time to kind of recuperate and rejuvenate. This is actually my personal, and not my relational energy, but my personal energy. So I know a lot about this energy. It has a lot to do with loving to be more project based rather than some sustainable 9 to 5 type energy that you're, every single weekday or work day, you have kind of the same rhythm and schedule. Cheetah's a little bit more project by project. So there could be something in the way you relate where you need some space, some downtime. And this could also be reflected in the kinds of partners that you attract. They may be kind of hot and cold a little bit, but when they're on, they're on. And when they're off, it's not necessarily they're cold, they're just kind of unmotivated. Cheetah has very regal energy. A lot of ancient Egyptians had them as pets in the royal class. And took them on their hunting trips. So there's a very regal energy around it. So you may be perceived in the way you relate as very regal, but you may not see that until other people reflect it back to you. That might be something that's hard for you to see about yourself. But in turn, you might really attract people like this, some very kind of elitist sort of whatever class system, background, status they come from, they kind of put off this, there can be people in lower socioeconomic economic statuses that still have this energy. It doesn't really, you don't have to come from wealth, but there's an energy around people you attract that is kind of very regal and sure in their body and their selves. And this is also your relational energy, but it has to be reflected for you to see that. So really cool. We are going to draw one of these sort of like, I don't know, they're kind of like elemental type energies to just like flesh this out a little bit more. Whoops. Take that top one. Okay, so to make equal the equator. I don't know why this just does not want to focus. Here we go. Yeah, to make equal the equator. So I actually love, I think this is a beautiful energy in tandem with the cheetah. There's something in you, whatever background you come from, it's almost like you want to find a very different, others with a very different upbringing, very different status, a different skin color, a different, there's something that you want to kind of harmonize gaps in the world through how you relate and how you harmonize in the world. And this is an energy that's natural to relational energy. It's sort of Libra energy is relationships, and Libra likes to balance, equalize. So it's a really beautiful energy to have. You really know how to harmonize. You might attract others who equally know how to balance and harmonize and find fairness and justice. You may be attracted to people in the legal field or designers who really understand either justice or how to work with kind of harmonizing and balancing more physically, aesthetically. But there is an aesthetic quality to your relational style. You really like to, you may have some, you don't have to be a Libra, but you might have like a Libra rising or a Libra descendant, which is the relationship cusp, or just a lot of planets in Libra in your house, or a lot of planets in the 7th house. But you may be very aesthetically motivated because, cheetah is a very regally attractive animal, and this ability to harmonize and bring balance in the kinds of people you attract and the kind of relational energy you put out. There's just an aesthetic thing here. So, yeah, you definitely look for a sense of it. And it doesn't even have to be physical beauty, but just a sense of like elegance, in the way that your relationships function. Okay, so really beautiful. Okay, so we are gonna pick now from a, what is the name of this deck? I'll put it in the descriptions, but it's sort of like relational geometries. Yeah, kind of relational designs. So we're going to pick 3 cards from this deck about kind of different qualities and energies that come out in your relational style, hence your relationships, or also in partners. Ooh, reflection. That is total Libra energy. It's sort of a similar thing as like equalizing. It's, yeah, I mean, we'll get into this. Hold on, let's get all the 3 cards out. Oops, sensitivity. Totally, cheetah is sensitive. It's a very shy, I forgot to say, it's a very shy animal. It has high sensitivity. So you may be very sensitive to others' expression. Yeah. Okay, we'll dive into these. So reflection, this card says, the energy of reflection supports our growth through the insights we get from the contemplations of self and other. So you may really enjoy taking time to see others in a beautiful way and see yourself in others and let others see themselves in you. Like you're very practiced in this ability to mirror things and have things mirrored to you. Like, I mean, that is definitely like such a beautiful theme that's really powerful coming through, that can help both you and partners get like a really rare glimpse and insight into the way we're perceived in the world past what our own kind of awareness um, is capable of, you know? So you really have like I feel like this is like a deep understanding of others and a deep understanding of yourself. It goes both ways. So you could also attract partners who are really, really good at like being able to be still and take time and really be thoughtful about how they're affecting you, and vice versa. And then sensitivity. Let's see. The frequency of sensitivity helps us to open to the world of subtlety and detail while anchoring in a structural foundation, thus supporting us to become more fully multidimensional. Yeah, I like that. I feel like that's something anyone with very sensitive energy should be good at and aware of, is like finding your anchor points so that you feel safe in your ability to really have these heightened perceptions. Like you feel everything very deeply. So it's nice to know where your anchor points are. And this may be seen in a partner too, where they could have these home bases, whether that's their home or a certain coffee shop or, you know, certain patterns or even like rituals that take place that sort of anchor you or anchor your partner. I feel like you both, you know, maybe you learn from a partner that that's something that you can really benefit from, is having some sort of like daily rituals that help you feel anchored, or creating, because there's this very aesthetic quality, like making your home feel like a sanctuary, so you have this safe haven to kind of recover and rejuvenate with all the things that you soak up relationally. Like you're very sensitive to how you harmonize with people, and so you may attract others as well that reflect that, you know, these things we have a hard time seeing about ourselves. But you may find this through partners that you attract, that they, you know, are really open and sometimes maybe even too open to harmonizing with you, like they lose their identity a bit into you. And because that's a mirror of your own self, like there could be, that's something to actually watch for in relationships, that like you and partners may sort of lose yourself in each other. And I think these anchor points, rituals, whatever it is for you that helps you feel grounded, is what's needed to help you reestablish your own center in who you are, and also for partners. So, you know, if you're attracting very sensitive others and you kind of have a grasp on how to anchor, kind of show them the ropes of like creating ritual and anchor points to kind of come back into their own energy. Yeah, but it's really, it can be very lovely energy, because it's this ability to really get into the nuances of harmonizing, you know, with other people. And then expression, the frequency of expression supports, sorry, I just wanted to focus that, supports our ability to bring out our true essence through many different forms of communication. Ooh, I love this. So I felt this in that reflection card. Like there's like a very open channel of communication in the way you relate. And you may relate in many different ways. You may use art to relate, you may use color to relate, but you very much so have a deep desire to express yourself within your relationships, and you may have found a lot of different avenues to make things colorful, to make things vibrant, or you might attract others who do this. But again, it's sort of a reflection of your own relational vibration. Yeah, so just like a lot of nuance here, a lot of channels of very, very open channels going on, a very aesthetic thing, a very harmonizing is both nuanced and colorful for you guys. Really cool. Okay, we are gonna pick some tarot confirmation cards to get just like a little bit of extra info. I feel like this wants to come out. Okay. Groundedness. You're very stable and perfectionist and dedicated to this reflective quality, or you may find partners who have like a deep stability in how they mirror and how they show up and open to you. The Hierophant and sensitivity. Yeah, I mean, to me, this is confirming that, like, diving into, I don't know, something that feels very traditional in terms of the rituals and anchor points, that feels stable and contemporary, traditional. Maybe those two things are in conflict. Things that have a deep grounding because they have a deep history. So, you know, plugging into your family home or visiting an old church or something, you know, something that has some history to it, that's woven into your rituals that anchor you, reading books or scriptures or something that are more ancient, could be very grounding for you, anchoring for you. In general, opening up to something spiritual could really ground you too in your relationships and kind of help you find your center amidst kind of sometimes losing each of your own selves to each other or to the relationships in general. Yeah, some more spiritual aspect to this anchoring will really help you and or a partner kind of find their centering when too much of self has been lost. And then Chariot with expression. I feel like this deep need also kind of seen with the Hierophant too, of like, there is something very traditional, even though you may be like really interested in finding partners or attracting partners that are from a very different walk of life than your own. You're really interested in creating your own world together that you've kind of conquered and created your own expression in. This is something you do in relationships. You kind of create your own world that's very expressive of who you and a partner are. You're really good at that within partnerships and attract partners who are good at kind of like, diving into creating your own world together. That's a deep expression of who you guys are. Okay. Last card. Looks like we're going to be more like 20 minutes with these readings, but that's all right. Okay, compassion. Beautiful. I feel that, and I love that it like fell out right on top of sensitivity. deeply compassionate. You attract others who have a lot of depth of understanding and a willingness to accept things that are very different from them, who are very sensitive to other energies and open to putting themselves in other people's shoes, in your shoes, you being open to putting yourself in their shoes, putting each other's in each other's shoes, and like feeling each other very deeply. The way you harmonize, you feel people very deeply, which again brings me back. I do think it's so important to find certain anchor points that help you keep your energy centered. Sometimes I do think that it might be easy for both you and your partner to kind of feel so deeply in other people's shoes that it's easy to kind of, lose your centering a bit. But it also makes just this like really compositional, fluid harmonizing that happens for you in relationships and bringing in others that also have that kind of energy around them. Really, really beautiful reading, you guys. If you are interested in exploring a specific relationship, you can, in the descriptions, get the add-on reading for pile 1 about a specific relationship in your life to dive into something happening right now with someone specific. Okay, I will leave you there. Hello, pile 2. If this is your pile, you picked the Gazelle. The Gazelle is has a very elegant nature to it. It has a deep sensitivity to it. It is I mean, in the animal realm, it's hard to say that an animal is a creator. I mean, I guess they can be, but there is like this creator, this artistic, refined, graceful energy around the Gazelle. But it is prey to a lot of other animals in the animal kingdom, so it has a very skittish, nervous energy to it. So to me, this is saying your relational vibe is incredibly graceful, incredibly elegant, but it could be nervous for just like maybe your nervous system is a little bit nervous in terms of how you harmonize and relate with others, or you may have had experiences where because of this elegance you hold, you're very desirable, and so you've had a lot of people try to relate with you or hit on you per se, and have been sort of burned that way. One or the other, it could just be that you have a nervousness in your relational tendencies, but it could be an experiential thing too. But overall, there's like a really graceful way that you move. This could be reflected in the types of partners you draw to you. That's more apparent to you, that like, oh, this is like who I attract. That's not me. But it's, you should be aware of like the way relationships help reflect things about yourself. There are harmonizing energies you put out that have this kind of energy in them. Okay, so we are going to pick kind of an elemental card to pair with the Gazelle to get a little bit more depth of information here. Electricity, totally, I love that. And it says wildness, electricity. And look how open this person is. Like, whether you're aware of it or not, the way you relate to others, that elegance and that nervousness actually has like a spark in it, a fluid vibration of light that, yeah, you're very, very open and, yeah, people, like, just like it's beautiful to watch gazelles move, there's a current running through the way you relate and harmonize that also is like, and they can bound high, and there is this openness around that, but there's a current there of light that's just like really magnetic to watch. And gazelle is a very wild animal too. Like there's something just exciting in your gracefulness, in your elegance, or in the people you attract, if that's more apparent to you. But just reflecting to you guys that your harmonizing energy is like this, hence like attracts like. You may more apparently see this in partners you attract, where there's this deep specialness, this deep electrical current running through them, but at the same time, like maybe a little bit of skittishness. I feel like with electricity, it is kind of like a quick paced, it's there and then it's gone type of thing. And that might be, there's some elusiveness going on here. Yeah. Only special times and special people get access to that, in that one-on-one capacity. Okay, so we're gonna pick these sort of pattern cards that hold qualities. So like, what patterns do you hold that are have that birth kind of qualities that show up in your relationships? And again, it's just like your harmonizing style, hence what you kind of attract in others. Soul, beautiful. Okay, let's get all three of them out and then we'll dive into them. Time. Okay. Surrender. Ooh, that I feel that with this person seems fully surrendered. Okay, so starting with soul, this says the energy of soul activates our connection to the part of us that is closer to higher realms, God or the divine. I think to you, in the way that you relate and harmonize and exchange with others, you're super uninterested in what's on the surface. You want to see beneath, and you want to desperately show what's beneath your surface too, in that intimate kind of one-on-one harmonic territory. And I think this is why there's such an elusive energy going on here. Not many people are willing to show their soul. They don't even know what their soul is. And it's important that we be careful who we show our deepest soul to, because it's very wild territory, that wildness. There's, I relate it to that feminine aspect that's dark and wild and uncontrollable and intuitive and instinctual. And that's what you're interested in. So it's almost like you probably keep people at an arm's distance until you feel that vibration from somebody that they're willing to, there's an energy around it that you get an attractor energy towards, of like someone who's very tapped into their soul. And then it's sort of like, I think you attract soulmates because of that. You're not interested in wasting your time in the bullshit, in dating apps, in going on tons of setups, and even in like your friendships and business partnerships. Anyone you attract to you, it's like soul connections. You're not interested in having relationships just to have them. you open up to people who are going to let you see beneath their surface and who you feel safe to show that to. And that's felt, a lot of people probably don't understand what that's about, but it's very attractive. And so there's probably a lot of people clamoring to get this energy from you and to be in relationship with you. But you're only going to attract back people who are very soulful and very in touch with deep, dark, wild things in them that are, really intuitive and full of depth. Okay, so time. The energy of time supports our understanding of the relativity of time and our capacity to be present in the moment. Wow, okay. Time being relative, being really present in moments. I love that there's almost like this star pattern here. How many? 1, 2, 6, so 8-pointed star. That is kind of a Venusian star. It has an 8-year pattern. Again here it's there's something, I really want to connect soul and the way time is talked about here, of like really being present, I think is what helps us to be aware of and understand and deepen our sense of who we are in our more soulful territory. But there is a presence, Gazell, even thinking about gazelles, there's a presence to their elegance. So there's something about being very present that allows that elegant, graceful quality to surface and develop and become something that feels wild and electric at the same time. Deep presence. That's the kind of relationships you attract, people who are very present and aware. And it's because it's the harmonizing energy you're putting out into the world. Surrender. The energy of surrender supports us to let go of illusionary control and yield to the flow of love and life. I think this is, and we'll see, I'm going to pull some tarot cards too to see kind of like where these energies are, what aspect of them are being worked on or where they are developmentally. But I'm wondering if there's been a journey with the surrender of like maybe this want initially as you first kind of dip toes in relational worlds, of having certain expectations and having gone through learning lessons about the more you invest in a certain expectation, the more disappointed you're going to be. And so having learned lessons around just letting people and trajectories be more fluid and malleable and not putting kind of rigid structures on these things. And if you're very good at this, just this like really deep trust in and openness to the universe and these bigger plans that are part of our destiny, part of our trajectory, part of our soul lessons. So some of you may be on the side of like kind of in this push and pull with this, having expectations and disappointment, and some of you may be really good now or inherently at just being flexible and fluid and allowing life to unfold with the magic it holds, kind of creating, being present to what you want, knowing what your soul is, and that trusting that that's going to take you to beautiful places. Okay, let's pick some tarot cards. Ooh, I think this wants to come out. Okay. Yep. Okay, beautiful. Messenger of Fire. This is like a Knight of Wands. This soul territory to you is filled with wildness and adventure. You could attract others to you who are very adventurous in the unknown, in the depth and beautiful richness of life, and like very bold and brave and just courageous and vital around how this is done. Also just mirroring it back to you that is sort of a relational quality you put out, whether you're aware of it or not. And I think it's time for you to let others bring you on a journey so you can see your own vibration of soul and wildness. I think this is saying this is what you're working on right now, is being bold and brave and pushing your boundaries here. 10 of Waters, just a harmonious flow of emotion, compassion, love. I think you've mastered this, or you attract others who feel very masterful at being present and understanding that time is a precious thing, and are very like aware of each moment and how precious each moment is, and so is like very centered in every single minute that they are relating with others. And then 6 of Fire, this feels like some victories, like you're on a journey right now with this, and you're having little victories. You're having successes that other people are mirroring back to you, or you're with others who are doing some beautiful, exciting things around how they're newly surrendering to life, and it's bringing positive occurrences relationally. But very something successful in your relationships is going on right now with your ability to find some surrender and some trust in just the flow of things. Okay, one last card before we leave this. Trust. Yep. I love this card for your energy. I think what I ended off with, this surrender, like you found a sense of trust in kind of the flow of relationships, of attracting your soul partners, of being with, giving your present awareness and attention in the way you harmonize, hence getting it back. There's a lot of trust happening right now. Like I feel like maybe you're finding a new depth to your soul, a new understanding of being present, a new letting go into surrender, and a new awareness of how graceful and beautifully current as an electricity current, a wildness in your current. You're just like, there's so much awareness, I believe, that you're newly understanding and attracting others who emanate these things, that are actually part of your relational vibration, but you're just finding a lot of beauty and trust in in what you attract. So congratulations. And if that's not what you feel, I feel like this next year you're going to learn these lessons and like really find this, like how to trust, what to trust. And maybe this reading has helped you with some sort of key here or there to help you drop into more trust. So beautiful reading, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you're interested in energy in a particular specific relationship, especially romantic right now, in the description there are some links to add-on readings that you can do for pile 2 and a particular relationship right now. Okay, thanks. Hello, pile 3. If this is your pile, you picked the crocodile. So crocodile is mostly water animal, but it also has some land element to it, and it's a very, very ancient animal, and it knows the art of patience. It knows how to camouflage itself and wait and wait and wait for its prey, almost to swim directly to it, into its mouth or something. And it also has patience. Once it's caught its prey, it kind of holds it underwater in a certain way, waiting, for it to die and to the right time for it to kind of feast upon its prey. Sort of morbid. But there's this really this thing about its ancientness and its connection to patience in the water, where it has this deep birthing energy and it really cares about its offspring. So there's a deep, even though it can seem like this really sort of scary animal, there's this deep mother nurturing quality with crocodile and primordial energy, like a deep ability and trust and craft with creation. So that's something in the way you harmonize with others, hence what you attract in partnerships is there's something very patient, there's something very waiting for the right one to nurture. You're not just going to get into any relationship, that's for sure. You have a very specific kind of relationship, kind of person, kind of partners you're looking for, and you're willing to wait. And once you have it, you know how to keep a hold of it, you know how to nurture it, you know how to protect it. It's a protector too. That deep mama bear energy. I know it's not a bear, but there's this mama bear energy to it, like it's a protector, So it births, it protects, it waits, it's ancient, there's something really deep and knowing in the way you relate, and hence waiting for the right things and attracting others who have this equally. You may see this more apparently in others versus the harmonizing vibrations you put out of like someone who is very strategic but nurtures and protects very well. Okay, we are gonna pick sort of these are sort of like element type-ish cards, just to give a little bit more flesh out this archetype quality. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, this is a perfect card to pair with crocodile, rain, and fecundity. This is fertility. This is the way that water mixed with land, water in the soils. The alligator crocodile is a land and water animal. There's something super fertile about that energy. It can seem a bit murky and mucky, but it's this energy that really creates fertile soils for birth. So there's something like you may really attract family-oriented individuals. It's definitely something coming through. Okay. And you may relationally be very interested in family too. Okay, so we're going to pick 3 of these. They're sort of like qualities that come out of your relational energy. Your harmonizing energy holds certain patterns that create certain qualities in your relational style. Card wants to come out. Awareness. Ooh, tenderness. Beautiful. To come out. And intimacy. Oh my gosh, I totally get that. Intimacy and crocodile, hell yeah. Okay, so starting with awareness. I haven't really brought numbers into this yet, but I love the 11 here. I think you're a very spiritual person. Self-mastery is important, and hence you might attract others who have like a very high vibration, a high self-mastery of themselves. But it's something, the way you harmonize is very masterful and aware. So the energy of awareness supports our capacity to focus our attention on all aspects of a multi-dimensional world, so that we can create a reality that we oh my gosh, I'm just eating my words today. So that we can create a reality that we truly choose. Yeah, I love this awareness, like the crocodile. It watches, it's very aware of what it wants. It's a master. There's a very masterful tactic and strategy in crocodile and what it's drawing in. And same with you, hence you attract others who are very aware. Hence the reality you can create in a relationship is just like really masterful again, but like there's a lot of control over knowing what kind of harmony you want to create in a relationship and what you want to create in the world through your relationship, and that awareness helps you manifest things. Yeah, beautiful. Tenderness, I love that with like the water element coming through in both of these archetypal cards. Let's see what it says. Oh, and you have, I don't know why this is the pile where I'm really wanting to pay attention to the numbers, but I love any number that has a 0 in it. Zeros are amplifiers, and 4 is a stabilizer. So there's something very stable, and I definitely would read a crocodile as having this very stable energy. Like it's, can sit and lie in wait for ages, and it's lasted, it's one of our most ancient animals right now. So there's something very stable in that energy, long-lasting relationships too. So a tenderness, so interesting, tenderness is the energy of 40. So that stability that's amplified, there's something about a tenderness that has cultivated that kind of lasting energy. So the energy of tenderness activates our capacity to open our hearts and approach the world and each other with gentleness and care. Beautiful. I love how there's these like flowers coming out of this spiral kind of design, which then creates these beautiful greens into blues. And it's like, to me, it's like a deep heart energy emanating up into the throat. If you think about the colors of the chakras, the heart is green and the throat is blue. So there's something about your truth and expressing through your heart that you put that vibration out, hence attract others who are, like really gentle and tender, because their expression is coming from their heart, which does, I do think that promotes some sort of longevity energy. So beautiful, you guys. And then intimacy, I definitely like crocodile to me, and this fecundity. Intimacy can be a scary thing, and it should be done appropriately and not with just anybody. And I feel like that energy around crocodile is like, yeah, I'm going to wait for the right person. But when I find the right person or the right people to relate to, they can have all of me. And that's that protector. That's that, the Crocodile can go deep into the water. It's that going into the depths of emotional territory, opening up to others, sharing what's very deep within us. So it says the energy of intimacy supports us, trusting that we are safe to allow closeness. And that's what I was definitely feeling, like there's this family, something about family is very important in your relationships, whether it's cultivating and creating family with a romantic partner, whether that's being attracted to others who have deep connection to their own family, or that you can connect deeply to their family, whether your relationships are deepest with your own family members, cultivating relationships, even if they're business or just friendship, that feel like family. Something about that is really important, because like you bring such a deep, close intimacy that anyone you relate with, harmonize with, immediately gets drawn into your inner core. So beautiful. All right, we're gonna draw a couple of tarot cards to kind of see where these energies are, like what it could either be like developmentally where these energies are, or like what at this moment in particular you're kind of fascinated with or working on around them. Okay, ooh, Ace of Fire. This wants to come out. 9 of Earth. Okay. 7 of Fire. Ooh. Okay. Okay, so Ace of Fire with awareness. This is just like the power of fire. And aces, it's sort of like the one, you have a double one here and then a 1 in the ace. It's just like a really the core, it's just awareness tripled down. I don't know how else to say it, but with there's a creativity around it right now that's taking place. Your awareness in how you harmonize, or attracting another who's very masterful in their kind of relational presence and contribution and effect. There's creation all around this. Awareness is really like being able to create a reality that we truly choose. That reality, I think right now, is a creative one, and there's so much energy around it. So that's exciting. Create with your relationships, whatever they be, family, romantic, friendship. It's time to create with that harmonizing energy you possess. Okay, tenderness. This is super beautiful. 9 of Earth is sort of like our personal material desires really being fulfilled. And there's something about this tenderness, the anchoring you have, the support you have in relationships that's bringing, I think, some aspect of material fulfillment right now, material security. Even if it's not like this great wealth, there's just something that feels very secure in your tangible reality right now. So that's also really beautiful. Or you may have partners that seem to hold that energy, but it's worth looking at. What about you is attracting that, and then 7 of Fire with intimacy. I think that you have some very successful relationships right now. And I love that this has like a strong, not all of these designs have like a strong boundary around them. And I think it's important right now that you hold boundaries with who you let in, because visibly you're having maybe some very strong and successful intimate relationships. And it's being seen, and there could be some jealousy out there and some people trying to mess with that a bit, sending evil eye or actively meddling. So yeah, this was to me sort of like hold your boundary. You've had successful intimacy for a reason, and just keep fostering that from within. And anything you feel like that's hitting your boundary line that doesn't feel right, yeah, just trust that for sure. Okay, one last card to end us off. Okay. That to come out. Paradox. Is this the card that at the star? No, that was last pile. Interesting. Trying to see where this might be pointing towards. It's a beautiful card. I think it may feel a little paradoxical right now to you, or some paradoxical energy around how relationships are I don't know, like I feel like there's two sides maybe to a lot of your relationships right now. That you're sort of needing to just let be. I want to pick another tarot card. There's something about this that I'm not sure of where this plugs in. You know, 6 of water. Okay, the water element. Okay. Going back to family, I think that's where the paradox lies. There may be some like really complicated issues right now around what you deem family and how family is interacting in your relationships that you both value and are a little bit put off by at the same time. And there's something that you're just needing to be patient and hold some complexity in around that. But 6 of water, it's gonna clear up. But I think you're just holding a lot of baggage maybe right now around that protector family quality, that intimacy that you generate, that really cultivates family atmosphere in your relationships. There's some complex things there. There's some baggage there. There's some dimensions there that are a little bit turbulent. It's hard to see through the water right now of like what's the truth of certain relationships. And it's almost like you need some of these relationships for some important reason, but they are a little bit uneasy in other ways. And just a little bit of time and patience, channeling that crocodile strategy. Be patient. Don't make any harsh, like sudden, abrupt moves, and that water will clear and you'll see exactly like how to kind of harmonize those paradoxes or settle them, and what moves you need to make. Okay. All right. That is where I'm going to leave you guys. Really beautiful reading. If you are interested in a little bit of insight into a specific romantic relationship, in the descriptions, I'm doing add-on readings. And for pile 3, you can pick, that pile and get a little reading about a specific relationship. All right, thanks, guys. Hello, pile 4. If this is your pile, you have the Cosmic Egg. This is the last card in the Wild Unknown Animal Archetype deck, and it's like the most spiritual, it's the most cosmically oriented. It is birthing something new into our world. It's very multi-dimensional. It holds a portal to other realms. It's very like living between worlds feeling, but just like really channeled and connected to something higher. Beautiful ability to manifest, only because manifestations are being dreamed up that are like for the whole of the world and the progress and the evolution of the world. There's like an evolutionary quality with this. If you see like the snakes kind of spiral up the egg, it's really has a deep wisdom about pushing evolution and trajectories and humanity. And so this is an energy relationally that you put out, but you may more apparently to you attract others that hold this like deep aged wisdom, like very old soul, calm, slightly detached energy too. Like you may be a little bit detached in the way you relate to others, hence attract others who are a little bit that feel detached, which could, be frustrating if you're not aware of that. That's how you relate. That's your relational vibration. So a lot of space needs to be given in relationships, and it has nothing to do with you or the other. That space is about holding really big boundaries and understanding really big compositions taking place in the world. But your harmonic vibration too just needs space and time to meld to, it's like alchemy is taking place and it's like a stew, and it just needs time to like for all the flavors to marinate and be okay. Like time and the cosmic egg are, like time doesn't work the way we think about it working in our world with the cosmic egg. So like, don't try to rush things. Don't feel like something's too late or taking too long. Savor that marination process. Savor the time and space that's really harmonizing masterful composition of something. Like something really big is composing and really beautiful, but it takes some detachment, it takes some time, it takes some space. So that's what's going on there with that energy. Really, really cool. Okay, so these cards are kind of like sort of elemental, landscapey, just to give a little bit more depth and information to this archetypal energy around your harmonizing energy, hence what you attract. Plants and growth. And I love that, I don't know if this is I think it's an elk. I was almost going to say a moose, but I'm looking at the antlers and it's definitely an elk. And this is sort of like fatherly energy, but very stable and long lasting and persevering. And the growth that is being evoked from this card is tree growth. This isn't like flowers that grow each spring. This is trees that can grow over hundreds or thousands of years. And, the tree is a sacred in a lot of spiritual, more pagan-y traditions, or indigenous type traditions too. Like the tree really symbolizes a lot about holding the different worlds together. I know at least in the Celtic, the underworld is the roots and the trunk is the earth realm, middle world, and the branches reach up into the spiritual upper realm. And so, it can take a long time to develop channels and relationships between the worlds. And I think your relationships are growing the way you harmonize. You're really plugging into this slow growth that's being nourished and reaching towards and bringing together different realms. Definitely like portal energy going on here. Like you guys may do a lot of, like in your relationships, you might be attracted to or find people at spiritual retreats, in meditation. You may even feel the presence of spiritual companions, relationships that aren't present in our tangible world. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, like really slow growth, patient, big compositional, spiritually based harmonies you're putting together here. Hence the types of people you attract, but like really stable. That elk energy is very, very stable. So that's beautiful. Okay, we're going to pull 3 of these kind of relational pattern cards that produce certain qualities. So grace, totally beautiful. Oh, I feel like that wants to come out. Oh, here we got all 3 there. Strength, total elk energy, strength and connection. Beautiful. Okay, we'll go through each individually. So grace, it says the frequency of grace supports our smooth adaptation to and anticipation of life's currents and changes as we evolve. We can't make that up. This is totally, there's something about evolution here. As we evolve toward a higher version of ourselves on this earthly plane. Bridging the divide with the human essence. Need I say more? I feel like I've already talked about this. That is hilarious. Yeah, so there's you are in the way that you're harmonizing. I feel like this is beyond just one-on-one relationship. The way you harmonize with the world, which has something to do with your relationships. You're only going to attract others to you that are also harmonizing with the world, in general. Harmonizing the world. There's a grace around your harmonic energy, hence the relationships you attract that are so, the vibration is so much higher than typical us other earth creatures down here, and you're channeling things from the other realms. You're developing relationships that are not solely based on this planet. So I don't know. I'm going to leave that there, but there's something beautiful. There's just like a higher spiritual element around you that brings a lot of grace to your relationships. Strength, total elk energy, like I said. Okay. The frequency of strength supports our ability to harmonize all our qualities and skills toward a strong and balanced way of being. This is like the tree, the elk and the tree. There's no surprise to me that these were elk and tree were kind of paired on the visual of this card. And this is what this is saying. The way the relational harmonies, the way you harmonize with others is definitely like you're growing, cultivating stability and strength, and you're willing to take the time. You attract others that will take the time to build really solid, balanced, beautiful foundations that will last past your lifetimes, you know, they're so stable that they will last into other lifetimes you have. You will be able to plug back into certain harmonies, certain stabilities you've built with others in other lifetimes. You're going to find, like, I feel like the relationships you're drawing in are with people you've been with in many other lifetimes, because you've taken a lot of time and patience and awareness and energy to cultivate really beautiful, beautiful things with certain people, and they're going to come back into your life, whether they're romantic, family relationships, whoever, friends, but this is like the relationships that you care the most about and attract to you, I think, have been cultivated over many, many lifetimes. If that's weird to you, it's just saying, like, you develop your relationships like a tree and they're very solid and stable. Connection, the frequency of connection supports our ability to find alignment and resonance with others, things, and ideas. I love this. It's like you're weaving. You have a weaving ability in your relationship, so you're able to relate with a lot of people and a lot of things, and you can see it's almost like you're able to see how anyone or any element or any connection, where there is a thread of connection in anything. So you're able to connect things that are closely aligned and things that are very disparate. And so you can take any harmony in a relationship and find the common threads and really create and weave something beautiful, even if there was not a lot seen earlier about, like, what could be beautiful there. Okay, so we're gonna draw some tarot cards for each of these to see what at this current moment, because these are a little bit more universal energy, but like, what right now are you fascinated with or working on or developing about these? Wow, 2 pages. That's really interesting and beautiful too. In this deck, the pages hold sort of the seat of power for the aces, and they're just like a personification of that element. And so a little bit elemental in general, like fairy, pixie, elf, dwarf, kind of whatever. You don't have to believe in those. But they do hold elemental personifications. So I love that you have 2 of them, because I do feel like you're not really like a fully like an earth being. And so like the fact that you're working on developing like elemental energies around these qualities is so funny and amazing to me. So element of water, personification of water and grace, something very fluid. You're really working on emotion, depth, fluidity in the way, in what you're seeing as needing evolution in the world. And so harmonically in relationships, like really attracting others who are aware of and open with and prolific with the quality of grace in a very fluid way. With strength, we've got 3 of air, which is like 3 of wands. And that's really like envisioning something. I love all these, they're like these birds that have little crowns above them. They're not quite sitting on their heads or right above, so to me it feels like the opening of crown chakras of birds, which is sort of like the ability to have really, really divine messages come your way from other realms, and bringing you, like, visions are coming to you. You're not having to create visions. Visions are being delivered to you, and you just have to wait and listen. And so there's something about waiting and listening and receiving beautiful messages of vision that are going to help you build a lot of strength in your relationships and in your harmonies and in the way I think you and the way you partner with others. There's something about your partnerships that really helps harmonize the world. It brings beauty, like so much grace and beauty and strength that it just naturally adds to balance and beauty and harmony of the world. And then with connection, you have the page of earth. So like, I love that this is really like a little kid fairy. So little nature, it's like a little earth nature fairy. So personification of earth with connection. There's something you're really grounding in your relationships and finding connections through the beauty of earth and the beauty of the material realm and the beauty of form and function in general, like finding a lot of beauty in the material realm and using the material realm in a beautiful way. And there's something about how you're connecting with others through a very earthy, grounded way that's weaving something into the world that's really lovely. Okay, last little card, a parting thought. The Explorer. I love that. So right now, where your compass is taking your relationships is you're in exploration mode. So whether you have really strong personal relationships formed right now, you and partners are exploring new territory, finding new ways to grow your strength and grace, new information and perspectives around how things can evolve in the world. If you are not in strong partnerships at the moment, you're in exploration mode, dating around, making new connections with different friends, traveling, meeting a lot of different people that are bringing fresh energy and perspective into the way you are harmonizing and relating, and kind of like updating different points of view you've held that are going to bring a lot more understanding and beauty into the way you're connecting with others. So beautiful reading, you guys. This is where I'm going to leave you, and yeah, I really love this reading. If you are interested in a very particular romantic relationship right now, in my descriptions, you can purchase the add-on reading for pile 4, and we will explore a very specific romantic relationship. All right, thanks, guys. Hello, pile 5. If this is your pile, you picked the Hummingbird. So this is an air energy, of course, little birdie. But hummingbirds really hold a lot of joy and a lot of heart energy. And the heart is connected to the element of air. It's sort of the center, in terms of a chakra center, it's the center 1. And it uses that, like the heart being a pump, it uses that wind air energy to move things around. and everything kind of moves through the heart. And so being really connected to that center, it's like the center of knowing, you know, and it's able to transmute negative things into positive and really move you towards things that move you, that light you up. And the hummingbird can really help connect us to our heart, hence like a deep sense of joy. These little teeny things are also able to travel very, very, very long distances. So they have a lot of endurance, and they can move back and forth and up and down and stay stationary. So they're very like the wind, versatile in movement. And there was another thing I was thinking of with them. It's escaped my mind. I will bring it up if I think of it. Oh, that's what it was. The way their wings flap, it's almost like a figure 8. And so there is this like sense of that can connect to, you know, the symbol of eternity. So there's something very, excuse me, spiritual or divine about that. So in terms of this being a relationship card, the way you harmonize with others might be very open and joyful and from the heart. Hence, you might attract relational partners, whether that's romantic or friendship or business, or even any deep one-on-one relationship. So it could be someone in your family even. You just, you create a lot of joy, and they're also pollinators. So they're moving, you know, pollens, and they feed off of nectars of flowers, and just really connected to the sweetest things of life. So it's like, you know how, in the way you harmonize with others, you know how to bring out the sweetness, and hence might attract others who are very sweet and joyful back to you. Okay, so there's another deck that's sort of looking at, in a way, different elements. Kind of goes beyond that, but sort of an archetypal elemental energy to flesh this out. Oh. South. This is the energy. So before we had explored the whole globe, adventurers coming from at least the northern hemisphere, when they thought of the South, it was a very wild, undiscovered land. And so there's this connection to the direction of south and the energy of like a discovery and adventure and wildness. And it's also connected to the element of fire or summer. If you think about being in the northern hemisphere, when you travel south, it gets warmer. So there's, I like that warmth, that travel, you know, like being able to travel long distances as a hummingbird. There's definitely, there's some adventurous energy here, a willingness to explore the unexplored in terms of how you harmonize with others. I really like this energy that's coming out. It's like this very joyful, heart-centered place, but also like a little bit wild and daring in travel and journeying into another, with another. You know, you may be adventurous with your partners or attract very adventurous partners that are kind of fun-loving. Different ways that could go. Really, really lovely. Okay, so there's these sacred geometry relational cards that through different patterns kind of bring out different qualities. So we're going to pick 3 of these to see different qualities that kind of arise. You can't make that up. Curiosity with like travel and joy, like that just so aligns to me with hummingbird and adventure of the South. Okay, come out. Second chakra, so this is the sacral chakra, which holds the color orange and the water element. We're going to dive into these cards a little bit more once we get all three out. Oh, romantic love. Totally. The heart, I mean, right? It's a heart creature. So I feel like relationally, you're much more oriented towards romance than like deep relationships, other places. Not to say you can't have those, but there's something particular about romantic connection that in the way you harmonize that's really seductive to you and about you. You know, and romantic love doesn't have to be sort of romantic relationships. Romance can just mean deeply engaged in life. So romantic love could be between, you know, non-relation, like marriagey, spousey type relationships. But I do think there's something about those kinds of relationships that are particularly intriguing for you. Okay, so to start with curiosity, okay, it says the frequency of curiosity supports our intrinsic inquisitive nature, which is the necessary driving force behind any growth and evolution. So you have a deep, the way you harmonize, relate, exchange with others, you have a deep curiosity. And I feel like that's a quality that allows there to be a non-judgmental element to the way you view people, think about people, talk about people. Like if there's something that gives you like a negative vibe, you're more curious than judgmental. You're like, well, what is that about? You know, I kind of like want to dive in deep. And I love all these little bubbles. All of these cards have lots of little bubbles in them, but particularly I love these branching out from this center kind of circle. There's like these dots of colors coming out, and I don't know, there's just something really fun about that. It's like, what are all the colors of this person I'm learning about or harmonizing with? Or you might attract someone who's just endlessly curious and fascinated in you or about life, or when they meet new people, or just like really interested in meeting people and the endless diversity of humans, and just, I don't know, just like really consumed by the diversity of life and the diversity of experience and the diversity of psyche, and where a lot is learned by being in direct relation with individuals and with yourself. And I think that because that's something about how you exchange, like I think there's this deep understanding probably that you've cultivated of the human condition and of humans, and could attract people who have that same quality. Okay, the second chakra, the energy of the sacral chakra helps us to navigate our lives through our emotions and supports our ability to enjoy the sensual world. So I'm thinking about, you know, the adventure of the South and the hummingbird. There's something about those energies, the hummingbird and its nectars. Like you might be very seduced by your perceptions, by the senses, by anything that that has a wonderful sound, an amazing taste, visual aesthetic, that brings visual, you know, pleasure through visual aesthetic, that texturally feels nice and beautiful. You're very moved by the textures and how you perceive others physically too, and you may attract others to you who are kind of pleasure hounds and really revel in sensuality and the adventure of the perceptions, and be very adventurous, not only in a willingness to travel or to enter the unknown, but in adventurous in the body, and how you connect with your bodies, and really curious about the emotions that adventurousness brings up, and fascinated by watching emotions and feeling emotions and letting them flow through and out of you, into you, through you, out of you, and just like really fluid with that, and allowing perceptions and senses to kind of intermingle there. So I feel like a very adventurous quality around that second chakra being the center card too. And then, we kind of touched on romantic love, but let's go deeper. The frequency of romantic love supports our experience to know ourselves through the reflection of a conscious lover. Okay, so this definitely does feel like a spousal relationship partner, romantic partner kind of thing. And you may just love to be loved and attract others who love to be loved. It really matches with this second chakra. The pattern on these is actually pretty similar. The colors are different, but not exactly the same, but very similar patterns. So that these feel very connected to me. But you see this kind of pinky, orangey, reddy quality coming out, like you really do want to ground in the physical world, this love, taking it from the heart down into your abdomen or womb area where the sacral is, and then down into your root chakra where you kind of like really anchor and ground. Romantic love in like a very physical, this is a very physical pile. So like, I don't know, I think you're really tied to the senses and loving to be lovey and doing fun things and attracting fun partners. It just feels very joyful and light and fluid with emotions and fluid with the body. So yeah, really lovely. Okay, we are gonna pick some, where did they go? Some tarot cards to add to these qualities that come out as a way to either see, and you can interpret this however you choose. It could either be where you are developmentally with this quality in your relational style, or it could be just like what you're currently fascinated with about this quality and relationships right now. But it's more, these are more archetypal, always there, universal traits within you, and the tarot is showing something really like current right now, what's going on with it. So we've got Ace of Air, beautiful. That feels like a really perfect match. 5 of Water. Okay. Maybe in a breakup right now. 3 of Earth. Okay. Let's dive into these. So Ace of Air with curiosity. This to me is like, it doesn't matter whether you're in a committed relationship right now or not. Like, I feel like right now you're very, you have a lot of passion around connecting with others and just relating with people in your community or wherever. It doesn't have to even be your community, but you're just really interested in connecting and exploring people right now and developing relationships of all kinds, and creating just a lot of movement and connection with people at the moment. You're very lit up and mentally interested and curious and moved by different potentials and relationships at the moment. With the 5 of water connected to the second chakra, this could show a potential breakup having just happened or in process. Or it could show something getting in the way of you being able to see the really beautiful qualities in your relationships right now. Maybe some frustrations that are there emotionally. Something's a little bit stuck in your second chakra though right now around that fluid place. And in the 5 of Cups in a more traditional deck, we see that there are, a couple cups that are still full and then a few that have been knocked over, and the person usually isn't able to see, like the 2 filled cups are like behind them and they don't see them. So there is still a lot of beauty around you in this more sensual body emotion connection that you like to play with, or that attracts into your life. But there's something in your way, there's something a little blocked or challenging right now around connecting to this. And the advice I would give is to look at what you do have, what growth you've made in terms of being connected to your own emotional needs, being even able to identify what your emotions are. Maybe you've made a lot of progress with that, but the way another or others are kind of connecting with you right now has you like not focused on that or seeing it, and a little bit more focused on the way certain relationships are making you feel. And I think it's like turned back towards yourself and your own growth in this, the own development you've had in your sacral and in your ability to connect to fluidity and emotions, and letting life move through you. Because 5 is also like a card, like a number. The number 5 is a number of diversity and of change and exploration and discovery. So turn into the discovery of yourself and let that lead you into discovering different changes that are possible outside of you too. If there's been no breakup, but there's also no relationship in your life, and you've been alone for a bit, this is saying that there is a lot of diversity. Like maybe you're bummed out, like you feel like you're not finding the right people, you're not connecting well emotionally with people, but this is saying there's more diversity and possibility and potential around you than you're seeing. You just need to like connect to yourself. I mean, it's the same advice, like reconnect to your own sense of emotion and movement and love for your own body, and let that move you outward to see the potential that's right there, that's right behind you, type of thing. Okay, romantic love and 3 of Earth. You may be currently engaged in some collaborations, whether that's with a romantic partner or in collaborations that have to do with romance and relationships, but you're really working with others, working with community right now to develop your sense of romantic love, or maybe you're surrounded by community that has a lot of romantic love around them, and you're learning a lot about that, and so like absorbing some of that energy. But yeah, if you are in a stable romantic relationship, there's a lot, like kind of going off of this, if you're in a relationship but you're just kind of like bummed out for some reason right now, this 3 of Earth and the romantic love is saying like do something, like do a creative project together, collaborate on something fun and interesting that's going to kind of juice up new energy. I think that's kind of for that scenario what's going on. Okay, let's do one more card before we leave this pile. Oops. Well, here we go. Surrender came right out. Yeah, and I like that it like fell right on top of the Five of Waters. There's something you're needing to surrender. Whatever scenario you're in, whether you're in a relationship and bummed, having just broke up a relationship, or unable to find a relationship, there's some sort of like bigger plan you need to trust in, a greater connection to the flow of life that you need to trust in, and just kind of like let go of certain expectations you're holding or judgments you're holding. Yeah, you need to just sort of like release some things, let go, let life flow through you. Connect to your body, connect in. I mean, that's going back to the advice I've already given, like really connect to something in you that you can see is beautiful in order to see certain growth you've had that was unexpected, that might help you to trust in the unseen processes more and let go of certain expectations and judgments and allow life to flow through you again, and create certain things around you. Yeah, because you have so much joyful energy in your relational qualities. There's just something you need to move out of the way right now and let life happen again, I guess. Go on an adventure. Maybe that's what it is. Surrender into just your natural instincts and go on an adventure and see if that like enlivens you and brings you back to this heart place of joy. And yeah, that you have so much beautiful energy in the way you harmonize and relate with people. So just surrender into that knowing, basically, and have a little fun and let life flow through you right now. All right, that's where I'm going to leave you guys. Beautiful relational energy. And if there is a particular romantic relationship that you're curious about, specifically more than just your general relational energies, in the descriptions there is a add-on reading that you can purchase for your pile 5, and we'll dive into a specific romantic relationship right now. Okay, thanks. Hello, last pile 6. If this is you guys, you picked the shark energy. Oh my gosh, there's so much I could say about this. I'm trying to edit down what is like really feeling important or coming up in me. The shark is this thing that is mesmerizing to watch. It is, there's the lion that's the king of the jungle, and the elk being the king of the forest. And then I think the shark is, the king of the ocean in many ways. There are bigger animals than a shark, like a whale, but the shark is like the top of the food chain, really. And there's something mesmerizing about them, and they are very, very ancient creatures. So whatever their design, they really have they have a longevity factor. They've lasted. They know how to survive, and they know how to come out on top. So there could be something in the way you relate that is really draws people in to watch, but that might be like feel a little dangerous at the same time. But you have like a survival energy around you, and then because like attracts like, and a lot of times it's hard for us to see the way we harmonize on our relational exchanging energy. It's easier to see in what we attract back because of that like attracts like. So you may attract people that have sort of this toughness in life that they've developed, that knows how to survive, that knows how to conquer, and that is like really fascinating to watch. The shark is also an energy of like really being willing to confront things and say what needs to be said and ask for what you need, kind of thing. So relationships in your life might be have some element of like a lot of confrontation in them, but in a way, like they don't have to, it doesn't have to be bad confrontation. It's just like this directness within your relationships of like, this is what I need, this is when I need it, what do you need, what's wrong with you, not what's wrong with you, but like what is wrong right now. You know what I mean? But like there's a very direct connection in the way that you exchange and relate, hence you'll attract back maybe somewhat tough, assertive individuals as well. So, which can be, you know, really great. How many people have relationships where they don't actually like communicate what's in them and what they need, and it just festers and gets toxic. Like you don't let toxicity build up. Like you confront things, or the people you attract really confront things, but that's, you know, in your relational energy, something you foster as well. Okay, so we're gonna pick a card that is sort of like an elemental type of energy. It goes beyond the elements, but sort of in that realm, to give a little bit more, flesh this out a little bit more archetypally of what this relational energy is. Speed and movement. Ooh, yeah. I wish I knew a little bit more about sharks, so I may be like making this up. But do sharks sleep? I feel like they're always in movement. They probably sleep in some capacity, but they do. Anytime you see sharks, I feel like they are in movement. Not necessarily always speed-like, but I think, you know, they're capable of great speed. But I think it's that assertive quality that I want to extract from the shark, this assertiveness, where you need things to happen fast relationally. You may get involved hot and heavy real quick with people or attract others that want that, like things happen fast for you in your relational energy. You know, whether that's business, love, whatever, friendship, like you move fast with things. Like, yeah, we're resonating. We have things to exchange here. Let's do it. And just like wham, bam. I'm not going to say the rest of that. But, you know, like you get to it, whatever the realm of relationship it is. Okay, so we're going to pick a few of these sacred geometry cards around relationship, and it sort of like shows certain patterns you hold that relational harmonic patterns that you hold that bring out certain traits in your relational style. Ooh, crown chakra. I like this card. Union, beautiful. Attraction. Woo, I knew it. This felt hot and heavy. Attraction. But I do really love seeing this. We'll start with the 7th chakra. This is the crown chakra. It's the one that connects us to the divine, to cosmic information, to downloads. It says, the energy of the crown chakra supports our feeling of being connected to a higher power and part of a larger whole. I love this for this very assertive energy, that there is something, it's almost like, I want to say like there's such a clarity in your knowing relationally and in the people you attract in relationships, that there is an easy access. It's not like you're muddled or plagued by confusion that blocks this channel to higher wisdoms and very spiritual insight. So I love seen this in here. Like you're not just a shark. You're there's something deeply connected to bigger ideas and love and harmony in general. So people, whether people read that correctly or not, like that's something that you should know, because I think sometimes assertive energy can just be read as like a little bit, I don't know, I almost want to say like a little bit shallow in a way. It, not necessarily shadow, but like people wondering what the depth is there. Because things are so fast and so direct, a lot of people may wonder like, is there depth here? And there is. And so if you've ever felt like people are confused about that or had that mirrored to you as people not seeing that, like you do need to know that you are very, very spiritually connected. And that is, it fosters a certain clarity because you're really open to that channel of like a higher wisdom. 44, this is a master double number. So stability, 4 is stability, anchor points. So you have a mastery of anchoring into things and creating stable things. And then let's see what the card says. The energy of union activates our ability to unite our outer and inner aspects toward a state of wholeness. Ooh, I love that. Yeah, I mean, I think that makes total sense to me, like being very clear internally about who you are and what you need relationally and how you need to harmonize with others and how you want others to harmonize with you, and being able to say that and be direct about it, of like what you're offering, what you want back. It's like this shortcut to saying like, these are my anchor points, this is my stability, and then quickly being able to materialize that and manifest it outside of you, because there's just like no confusion or weeds or, like it's just like really clear. So yeah, it helps you build in the world for sure. And especially with partners, it's sort of like if you were to go on a blind date or something, or a app date, whatever. I found my partner before app dates were a thing, so I've not experienced those, but it's the same thing as like a blind date basically. But I feel like you're the person that's going to show up or end up, being attracted to someone who has this of like just not caring about the small talk bullshit and like laying it right out, like, this is where I'm at in life, this is what I want going forward, what's your situation? And I feel like it's always going to be initially like a coffee date, so you can be like speed out of there, like, yeah, we got this tough conversation out of the way, the big things, they didn't make the cut, or like, yeah, like we're really aligned and it was nice to get that straight out of the gate, and then we'll see what happens, So quick manifestation, that's why you're able to have speed, is like that directness and that clarity. Okay, so 9 is attraction. I feel like this is the saucy stuff. The heat I'm feeling. Okay, the energy of attraction amplifies the qualities that attract and support us on our journey toward inner balance and harmony. It's so funny because this is in general just about our attraction style, and I feel like this doesn't add like a new layer to that, but I feel like it's just amplifying, like, because of how clear you are and direct and channeled into this higher element, your attraction energy is amplified. This is just an amplification around the way you harmonize and attract, is like, it's really clear. So it's like your attractor energy is on a megaphone and it's like It's just easy, I think. It's just easy for you in a lot of ways, you know. Okay, so we're gonna pick a tarot card for each of these three quality cards to see, you know, all of these energies are more universal, archetypal of like what your energy is, hence what kind of relationships and people you attract in relationships. And these tarot cards are going to tell us with these three sacred geometry cards, like you could either take it as where things are developmentally, how far along you are into developing these energies, or just currently what the fascination with them is or what you're doing with them. Okay. 9 of Fire. All right. I feel like that's Sagittarius energy. Ooh, look at these 9s. 9 of Air. Gemini energy. This one wants to come out. Ooh, Queen of Fire. Look at all that fire. I could feel the fire. Even though you got a water animal, I was like, there's some fire going on. Correct. Okay, with 9 of Fire, just like 9 of Wands, around 7th chakra, I want to go off of, instead of traditional tarot, I'm just looking at this image and what I'm feeling about it. I think there's a lot of passion in certain downloads and how you're connecting to a spiritual ideal of relationship. And it's like you've wished on stars and it's starting to manifest, like in a really big way, in a way that's beyond your own energy. It's like the universe has conspired to bring something very holistic and very compassionate, but like a lot, you know, that fire has a vitality to it, something that's very alive and vital, but like really divinely orchestrated into your life. There's something really special. I feel like these are like not past wishing on a star. It's like you've actually grabbed your star and you have it in your hands type of thing. And there's magic coming out of them. So there's just like something really like a big journey you're in the middle of or about to go on, that you're touching, and it feels cosmically orchestrated. And it's really fascinating, and it's really sparking a lot of beautiful ideas and connection to feeling like life has your back type of thing, which is quite a deviation from what the 9 of Wands would be, but that's what I felt with that card. So there you go. And then 9 of Air, which is like 9 of Swords. Again, these cards I feel like just don't really adhere to some of the more negative traditional tarot, because like 9 of Swords in traditional tarot is a difficult card. But I love this image. Does not feel like things are difficult here. With union, the way you're manifesting and building something with partners, there may be a lot of elements in play, and you kind of have to channel a magician quality around you to balance them all. But because you're clear and because you're direct, you have the ability to put many things into orbit around you. and it's about also, because there's a lot of things in orbit around this woman, but it's not objects, they're living things. And so it's sort of like trusting these ideas and these projects or elements in motion to take a little bit of their own accountability and trust them things to happen, that you don't have to be 100% the orchestrator and the controller of everything that you have in the air. There's some sort of quality or about the things you have in motion where they're able to take care of themselves a little bit, even though they're orbiting you, if that makes sense. So like relationally, I feel like you're building really big things with another, or starting to manifest a person, whether they've come into focus or not yet, but someone who knows how to balance many things in motion and have ideas that can help, that are able to be so synchronized, even though they're individualistic ideas or like singular ideas, but all the ideas are able to kind of flow together and synchronize. Some sort of synchronization about many things in the air. In terms of like what you're building, this is like the master builder number, like what you're building in relationships or with a partner. And if you don't feel that, like I feel like it's coming very soon. Okay, and then attraction with Queen of Fire. This is like Queen of Wands basically, and I don't know if you can see, she's got this like glowing heart right on her center. And she's so calm, but yet she has this little bit of a saucy look in her eyes at the same time, a little come hither. She's moving. This is, these court cards, kings, queens, knights, they're a personification card. And so there's something that you're really tending to and care a lot about and nurturing around your heart being lit up and an attraction. I feel like you are, all these other cards, like I feel like you're in a really exciting attraction right now is taking place, and your heart is growing. And because of your ability to juggle complexity in relationships, you've attracted someone who can hold a lot of possibility. And this is a divinely orchestrated thing. That's what I'm feeling. Ooh, love it, you guys. Okay, one more card before we leave the reading. And this is just kind of like a parting energy, thought, something to leave with. Ooh, that's too many cards. Okay. I feel like this one wants to come out. The Seeker. This is just very adventurous to me. Once again, kind of like going off of this card, all these things up in the air in motion. I don't know why these look like teeth, if they are or not, but yeah, you've passionately been seeking something really special, and it's either here or about to arrive. And it's like you have a composition and like some magic you've tried to cultivate around what it is you want, what it is you're trying to create in a relationship, or the type of person you're trying to attract. And because you spent a lot of time seeking and gaining some, like developing some wisdom and insight and exploration around this. Like you've really honed in exactly on what you want directly, and you're asking for it and manifesting it. So that is really beautiful, you guys, and this is where I'm gonna leave you. Yeah, beautiful reading. If there is a particular, very specific relationship romantically that you're interested in, go to the descriptions and there are add-on readings. So choose the add-on for pile 6 if you want to explore a very specific person romantically in your life currently. All right.